Okay, hello everybody. Hopefully you guys can see me okay and you don't mind this really rough thing that have going on. I actually went to the gym this morning and I was really, thinking about how, oh God, what's my cat doing? Oh geez, I got a new kitten. See her? Okay, let me adjust things a little bit here, you guys. I got some weird. That's a little too far. Sorry. You can't do this before you get on a live. All right, let me do that. Hold on, real quick. Okay. Hopefully this is a little, well, that looks weird too. I don't know what's going on with my lighting today, but you guys are just going to have to deal. Oh, I look like a mess. Anyway. Okay. Hi. I can tell someone's in the room already. I would love if you would say hello and tell me who you are. That would be awesome. Today, I just felt very driven to get on and to share this conversation with you all today because, oh, Julia. Hi, Julia. I'm so glad you are here. I wish you could join me on the stage. That would be great. In fact, anybody who's listening to this now or on the replay, I would super love if you guys jumped over to the Wisdom app. And let me see if I can find it on my phone, what it looks like, so you can find it. But my phone is, all my technology is doing really, really weird things lately, you guys. I do not know what is happening, but it is. Oh, you're not gonna be able to see it because of the lights. Oh, well. Anyway, it's like a little Einstein head. The app is called Wisdom, and I get on there live couple, 2, 3 times a week, and you can actually join me on stage, and you can talk to me, you can ask me questions or whatever. I'm sorry, this this is my new baby. This is my little 5-month-old rascal named Oliver. Isn't he the cutest? But he's a little rascal, and he wants to be in here with me, so I'm gonna let him. And I will keep going. So I wanted to jump on today. Isn't he sweet? He's so sweet. I call him Ollie Lolly. So I want to jump on today because as I was falling asleep last night, so many things come to me in my sleep or right before I'm about to fall asleep or right after I fall asleep. And I have been known to keep a notepad and pen next to my head in bed so I can reach over and write down half asleep what I got going on, because when the morning comes and my brain pops into higher brainwave states, I forget. But I wanted to jump on today because I realize there's so many people out there who are single right now, and they might be feeling some kind of a way about Valentine's Day. And first off, this is normal and natural. This is something that a lot of people experience, and it's something that I could say I probably have experienced in my past. It's my distance past because it's been a while since I've had that feeling. But I know that this comes up, and the first thing that people think of is I'm alone. I don't have that special someone. Everybody else is loved. Everybody else is getting all these great things, and I don't have it. So I realize that this can be a painful place for some people, and they might even go into some type of depression. That is my working title for this. I was going to title it, Are You Hurting Over Valentine's Day, or something like that. But I feel like people can really get into some type of funk, some type of depression. And this is something that's real, and it's something that needs to be addressed because, the people who are on my channel and people who follow me are people who are self-healers. They're people who really want a better experience in their life, and they're ready to upgrade their experiences, but a lot of times they don't know how, which is completely understandable because guess who didn't know how either? Me. I didn't even know I had a problem for the longest time. I didn't even know that I was the common denominator for the longest time. I just thought I would roll out of this relationship because this person was acting ridiculous and I was fine. So I would just move on and try to attract somebody else. You guys, most of you know this story, but that ended up not working for me. And when my second husband, that relationship crashed and burned and left me virtually homeless with 3 children and all the things. That was at the point where I was like, something has got to be wrong here. And many times we put a lot of focus and pressure on ourselves to be in a romantic relationship. And that was me, you guys. First of all, I love being in love. I love love. I love cuddling. I love being belonged somewhere. I like having that person that is connected to me, that is supposed to be the person that is there for you come hell or high water. You get a flat tire on the side of the road or whatever it might be, that you've got this person. And sometimes we can feel very, very alone when we don't have that. And I understand that completely. Yet I've learned a thing or two about this. And there was some times that I was single during several Valentine's Day where I did not feel depression. In fact, to be honest with you guys, I felt the opposite. And I not the opposite of depression. I just felt like neutral, like it was just another day. Like it didn't bother me at all. In fact, there was part of me that was really glad that I didn't have a partner at that time, and it felt good and it felt freeing to me. So I wanted to jump on today to really help anybody that might be suffering a little bit today, because it's not a fun place to be. And I will say straight off that a lot of this is coming from your mind. A lot of this is coming from the judgments that you are having about yourself, about others, about past relationships, about the opposite sex, about all the experiences that you've had. And it's normal that you have your brain calculates these ideas in your mind. However, our emotions follow our thoughts. So whatever we are thinking is the emotion that we're going to feel. And I will tell you why, that this is actually brain science. This is not me making it up, but thoughts create chemicals, and those chemicals are called emotions. So if we have a thought like, I'm alone, nobody loves me, that's extremely painful thought. So that's going to create a chemical in your brain, which is going to create emotion, which is sadness, depression, loneliness, loss, rejection, whatever comes up for you. And then that's going to promote more thoughts. And then that's going to create more chemical, creating more emotion, creating more chemical. See? And then we end up like this, and we end up in a depressive state. Now, the first thing I want to say off the top of this is that I don't want anybody to think that you're not allowed to feel what you are feeling, because you are. And many times these things come up for us, these thoughts come up for us, creating the emotion to happen on the afterthought, after the thought, so that we can actually address what's going on. For those of you who have read my book, The Recovering People Pleaser, I'll flash it real quick on the screen. For those of you who have read this book, you'll know that I have a huge chapter in here about emotion. And not only that, this is the weird thing, is that this book, that chapter actually wrote itself. It was not in my outline, because I said, before I write a book, my first book and this book, here's the first one, From Doormat to Sweet Empowerment. This is an amazing book too. Okay. It was my first book, and I wasn't great at covers and nobody was helping me and blah. Anyway, but it's an amazing book. And I have these outlines that I write, but what happened is that somewhere along the way, I was writing my outline, writing my book, da, 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 and this chapter came out of me, and I looked at this chapter. I'm like, what is this? Like, this is weird. What am I writing? And then I sat back and I went, oh my God, I'm writing about emotion, because it's so incredibly important. So that was spirit downloading that shit for me. Spirit was like, you have to put this in your book. And so I continued to write that, whatever I was writing, it ended up being an entire chapter, because I thought maybe it'd be a subchapter, something like this. I can get windy, so I'm going to just drop that right there and say that that chapter wrote itself, because it's so incredibly important. First of all, it's incredibly important to honor the emotions that you are having. They are real. They're just an emotion, because if we push them away, or we repress them, or we ignore them, then they're just going to fester. All right. They're just going to sit in there, and emotions are, get this, energy in motion. Energy in motion. That's what emotion is. So if there's an energy attached to it, and if it's a heavy, dense emotion, you notice I don't call them negative. And I go into that in my book as well, why there's no emotion that is negative, period. They're not negative. They're just indicators. They're just guides telling us what we're thinking and what position or place we are at in our path at that time. So if we're in a place of thinking that nobody loves me, and no one wants to be with me, and I'm always going to be alone, I can't find real love, there's no good partners out there, all the good ones are taken. All those are very hard thoughts that are going to create a negative emotion in you, which is going to perpetuate depression and feeling a depressive thought. So first, yes, honor the emotion for what it is at that time. Okay. Like, I'm feeling sadness. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel anger. It's okay to hit a pillow. It's okay to express yourself in a healthy way. But then I offer you and invite you, cat hair, to not stay stuck in that emotion. Okay, that emotion was created from a thought that you have, but you have the opportunity to change your thinking and to change the way you are feeling around that situation. One of the thoughts that I had when I was single and, it was Valentine's Day or whatever, is, what, I'm really glad I don't have a partner right now because I don't feel like I'm in a position to attract a healthy relationship to me. So I'm glad that I have this time to myself. Do you see how much better that feels? Like appreciation for my aloneness, appreciation for my solitude, appreciation to really focus on myself. And I blew up that emotion and I made it feel like I didn't make it feel. It felt to me was like, yeah, gosh, this is so truthful right now. So when you really take the time to question these thoughts that you are thinking and ask yourself, like, is this serving me in some way? All right. You might uncover things like, I still have not healed from my past relationship. I was betrayed. I was hurt. I haven't forgiven this person. I'm mad. I'm angry that they cheated on me or left me for another person or dumped me or ghosted me or whatever they did. It's just an indicator that you have some healing to do. And sometimes these fabricated days, Hallmark days that come up, who knows who made these up, to sell things and to promote this business, sometimes these days awaken these things inside of us. It's no different than listening to a song that might awaken this inside of us, or watching a movie, or hearing a story about somebody else around you. These things are all very serving to us because they're just little indicators saying, hey, look here, there's a piece of healing that needs to happen right here. But something else that I wanted to share with you is that it's what I've learned on my path is that all of my relationships were serving to me in some way. Okay. So you can take this day to say, all right, I'm not with a partner right now. And this is really, giving me that stamp. You are single. You are alone. You are, blah. Okay. But what can I do with this? How can I change my perception around this? Let me tell you, I talk about this ad nauseum. A change in perception creates a change in direction. Think about that. A change in perception creates a change in direction. So if you're over here thinking, I'm alone, I must suck, I'm not good enough, nobody wants me, everybody leaves me, whatever the thought is, okay, I'm just making stuff up. That's your perception, okay? That's going to be your direction. That's going to keep you low. That's going to keep you disempowered. That's going to keep you unworthy. All those type of thoughts are just going to keep you in that place. What if you just change your perception a little bit and say, this alone time right now is I'm going to make the most of this alone time. It's very serving because I keep attracting these type of people that are not honoring, respecting, and loving me. And they're not staying, or maybe I'm leaving them because they're not quality people. Okay. They're people that have some wounds and people who have some struggle in their life and some fears, and all those things created just a really mess out of our relationship. And I had to leave that person. First of all, if you left somebody that was repeatedly disrespecting and dishonoring you, that's a time in your life that you really need to cheer for yourself and give yourself a high five because you loved yourself enough to leave. You respected yourself enough to leave. And you're like, I just can't do this. I'm worth more than this. Now, even though some point, like maybe you just left because it was just so bad you just couldn't take it anymore and your nervous system was through the roof, or they were a narcissist or abusive or whatever it might be, you might have been in that position, but you still left. You still had the wherewithal and that tiny, tiny shred of love inside of yourself, your spirit, your heart, your soul, that said, this is not okay and I can't do this anymore. And that's what I want you to blow up. That is exactly what I want you to go towards and to work on right now. Because so often in life, and this is what this entire live streaming, later to be video, is going to be about, is that the love you're seeking is your own. This is hard for people to wrap their heads around because they so desperately want a partner. Trust me when I tell you, if I was single, I was on the mad hunt. Every single time I was single, I was like, okay, that one's over. And now I'm going to look out here in the world and I'm going to find my next person. Like, and I'm going to find him fast and I'm going to shift and morph and do all these things that I needed to do and wear masks and giggle and have sex with them too soon and do whatever I would do to try to land my next partner. Okay, because I unconsciously thought that I had to find love outside of me in order for me to matter. That actually teared up my eyes because I know right now, well, actually, that might have teared somebody else's eyes up because oftentimes they pick up on what other people are feeling, but it tears me up because I mean that so incredibly much. This is the deal, you guys. The stuff that we need to learn is not complicated. We just have to understand the truth of it. We have to open our heart enough that that capital T truth goes, ding, I get that. Ding, I get that. Okay? Because if we have an armored and closed heart, we don't let love out any more than we actually let love in. And that's the truth, because the armor blocks this way and it blocks this way. And I talk about that too in my book. I give all kinds of fun little metaphors and things of what it really looks like. So we might think that we're being open-hearted and open-minded, but we're not. So this is what's required. What's required is that you be willing to do the necessary work. And when I say work, I don't mean hard work, pushing an 800-pound boulder uphill. I don't mean that. What I really mean is effort. It's about you being willing to put the effort forth to love yourself. Because when you love yourself, believe it or not, I know this sounds too simple and too good to be true. Everything else falls in place. Everything else falls in place. All right, let me tell you why. When you love yourself and respect yourself, number one, your energy is going to change, period. We are vibrational beings. This is what we are. We resonate energy out all the time. This is what we're doing. And we are calling experience into us that match that energetic vibration. So yes, we can attract in a partner, okay? But they're going to match that energy of where we're at. So if we're not loving ourselves in this moment, if we're not taking care of ourselves, respecting ourselves and honoring ourselves and making ourselves a priority, chances are we're going to attract somebody in that's going to match that energetic vibration. So the key is not quantity. The key is quality, is to attract people that are quality, that are going to match your upgraded level vibrational frequency. I'm here to tell you that what I'm sharing with you today is my own experience. I did not become a mentor because I read stuff in a book or because somebody told it to me and I said, oh, that sounds good. I'm going to go out into the world and be a mentor. Let me tell you something. It's scary as shit to write a book. All right. It's scary as shit to send a book out into the world. It's scary as shit to have a blog when you're not used to public speaking and to share your heart and to work through all a content creator's blocks as well to get this information out there. I actually do this because I'm passionate about it and because I know it works. Freaking period. I know this works. And I'm here to tell you that you have everything you need inside to heal. You can do this. We are self-healers. Not only are our bodies self-healers, we can self-heal our mind. It just takes effort and it takes discipline. That's all it takes. And it's as simple as changing a perception. Like I said earlier, if you have a perception of this, then you are continuing to go down that path. If you just alter your perception just a little bit, your path is already altered that fast. Okay. You're thinking differently, which is going to send a different energetic vibration out into the world, which is going to call different experiences to us. But let's say you're way over here in not loving yourself, caring about yourself, respecting yourself. It's going to take a minute for you to get to a place where you really do, where you sit in it 99% of the time, which is the space that I am at now. It has come so natural and organic to me over time as I practiced this, that now it's mind-blowing the people that I have called into my life. Or not literally called, oh, come here, not that kind of call, but I have vibrationally attracted into my life because I treat myself differently. So not only did my vibration change, but also I've become so much clearer on the inside that what I used to ignore or deny seeing in somebody else, I no longer do. I see the little pink flag and I'm like, pink flags to me, I'll just explain this really quickly. A pink flag to me is a not sure I like what I'm seeing right there. Like that was kind of weird, or that was kind of low vibe, or that was kind of something. Okay. I'm not sure what this is. So when I get that little pink flag arise for me, that makes me pause, sit back, look, and pay attention. Okay. Because I didn't used to do that in my past. It was just like, oh, they're having a bad day. or, oh, they're whatever. I'd make up excuses for whatever they had going on. That doesn't happen anymore. Now I sit back and I go, okay, I see that. I didn't see those things before. And this is because I have now healed my self-worth. That stuff stands out to me like a beacon. But a pink flag is something that we just pay attention to. It's not a red flag that's like, don't do it. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. Okay. That's what a red flag is to me. Where a red flag is to me is a one and done. Like you learn this thing about this person and you're done. You're like, I am not playing with someone like that. And this is not only true in romantic relationships, but in friendships as well, because you will start attracting higher quality, higher vibrational people to you who actually respect and love you equally to the way that you respect and love yourself. So I'm going to pause for a second because I got a note. While watching you look old, please upload your latest picture on YouTube logo. Okay, that's funny. That's kind of a funny story. All right, here's the thing. I will upload any photo that I choose to upload. That is what I will do. What you are seeing right now is a person that just got out of the gym and doesn't have her hair done and all the fancy things on. So this is how it gets, and this is what you're going to see. See, that right there is me loving myself. I'm not going to allow this person to get up here and tell me that I don't look the way that I look, because they don't know me in person and they don't know what I look like. So there's that. All right. Also, I think it's funny that this person was probably attracted to the picture on the live and decided to get on this live because of the picture. And then they're like, oh, wait, she's in a sweatshirt and she's got her hair looks like crap and all these type of things. Well, that's just the way it goes. Okay. So anyway, as I'm continuing with this talk, what I really want you guys to understand is that the love you're looking for is your own. And if you don't give yourself that love, then you're not going to be able to find somebody who loves you that way. So take this time, this Valentine's Day that is making you feel depressed or making you feel sad or making you feel uneasy or whatever it might be. Take this time today to say, how can I love myself best? What can I do for me today that is going to respect myself, honor myself, love myself, and care for myself? Okay. What do you need to do today? That's the first thing. How can I take care of me? Many times, as recovering people pleasers, we are so busy looking out into the world, trying to please everybody else, trying to make everybody else love us by being the yes man or woman, being over accommodating, not having any boundaries, just doing whatever people want us or request of us to do. And we have fractured all of our energy out into the world. Okay. It's time to pull all that energy back to you. It's time to say, listen, these people are going to be okay if I'm not at their beck and call 24/7, 365. They're going to be okay. What I need to do is to pull all of that energy into myself and start to give to me. The key here is, you all, because a lot of people think, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be loved. I'm not going to be liked. I'm going to piss people off. I'm going to upset people. Yeah, you will at first. That's pretty normal because you are now you have stopped being their source. Okay. The person that they rely on 24/7, which is actually a good thing because they need to learn to step into this for themselves. If they don't step into this for themselves, then they are forever going to be dependent on you. Okay. So it's okay to take care of yourself, and it's going to be a learning curve. It's going to take a couple of minutes. It's going to take a couple of minutes. It's going to take some time for people to get used to the new status quo where you are going to take care of you. Trust me, when I tell you, I had to retrain a lot of people in my life about how I was going to do things now. And they fell into it. They fell in line. It became not a problem to them because they soon realized that what I was doing was something I really needed to do for my well-being. And they loved me and they wanted me to take care of my well-being. And they learned to adjust themselves along the way so that they also saw too that when I took care of myself, that I showed up better for them. Okay. Because when we take care of us, that's always going to resonate out into the people around us. All right. The next thing is to avoid comparison. many times, like on Valentine's Day, we're like, okay, I don't have what this person has or this person has or that person has. Okay. So I need to I'm comparing myself to everybody else, and this is making me feel sad. This is making me feel hurt. All right. Well, I'm here to tell you, you got to stop comparing yourself to other people. Everybody is on their own unique journey, period. We don't have what they have. They don't have what we have. Okay. I need you to think about this. Everybody has, first of all, you come here, you're a certain set of DNA, period. And your DNA is different from everybody else in the world. Even identical twins don't share the identical DNA, 100% identical DNA. Okay. I had identical twins that I did their hair. They're grown ladies back in the day, and they look different. Like it was not hard to tell them apart. Like they did not have identical DNA. So we first of all, we come here with different DNA and also the way we process things. All right. We have different personalities. Then you mix that with traumas and dramas and societal influences and dogmas and expectations that were made of us and belief systems that were imposed on us. And we've had a very unique experience that is unlike anybody else. Okay. But all of them have had their unique experiences too. This is why you'll see somebody really shine in one area of their life, but another person not be able to shine in that area of their life because they have got some wounds in that area. So to compare ourselves to other people, it's really futile. It's not going to get us anywhere. All right, let me read what we said. Kristen, you look great. This is what miserable men say when they see a powerful, beautiful woman. The love you're seeking is your own. I feel like you're channeling something greater than yourself when you speak. So many truth bombs. I am. I am. Thank you so much, Julia. And yeah, it's really I just find that so interesting that someone popped up and said that. That's so funny because we were talking about haters yesterday on the Wisdom app. We were talking about people popping up and saying those type of things and how it really used to floor me. I mean, one time I filmed a video and my hand was in it. And the way the lighting was and stuff, I'm like, God, my hand looks really old. And I am older. So that's a thing. But someone in the TikTok said, you look like a 90-year-old lady. Your hand looks like a 90-year-old lady and you don't look that old, something like that. And I remember thinking, God, people just want to just come out there when they're miserable and try to bring other people down. But guess what? Nobody can bring me down because I love me. And also, by the way, Mr. Ahmed, he's not in here anymore. But if he decides to dip back in or listen to the replay of this, all of my thumbnails are current me, by the way. Peace. Okay. The next thing is to avoid substance. All right. I remember going through my tsunami. I'm not a huge drinker. I drunk occasionally during that time, but I really am not a big drinker. And when I was going through my tsunami, my former husband drank a lot, and he drank some pretty high octane beers. And I was so anxiety ridden and depressed one night. I just was like, ding, I think he's got some of those. It's got some beer in the garage fridge. He'd already moved out and was gone, so they were still sitting there. I went out to the garage fridge. I grabbed one of his beers. I couldn't even tell you the name of it. I was like an Amstel Light girl or a Mick Ultra. I was super like low octane beer. Anyway, so I drank one of his beers, and I was sitting on the back patio. And in about 10 minutes, I was feeling great. I was like, didn't have a care in the world. I was like relaxed and just felt really good. The next morning, I don't even know if I had one or two, but the next morning I woke up and I was even more depressed and I was even more anxious because lots of substances are depressants. So we're trying to escape that feeling for a moment, and then we don't. It makes it actually worse, which you got to choose for you guys. You got to choose for you, because for me, it doesn't work. So I would highly recommend avoiding substances when we're trying to reclaim our personal power and get into that space of truly loving ourselves. We got to have a clear mind. And let's be honest, substances alter the chemistry in our brain. They just do. I don't know about you guys, but when I was drinking, what do they say? Oh no, drunk words or sober thoughts, something like this. Like people will say things that they think when they're intoxicated, but they wouldn't say when they're not. Well, same thing is with me, man. I threw all of my cares out into the world. All right. I pretty much say everything, I think, anyway. That wasn't my gig. But people throw, caution. They don't care. They become uninhibited. They do things that they shouldn't do. And, in this time of feeling depressed or sad or anxious or low or whatever it might be, I would say care for yourself best. Don't put yourself in a position to possibly make a decision that is going to give you shame and embarrassment or grief on the backside of it. All right. One of the things that I knew when I was dating is that I don't think alcohol should be involved in dating, to be honest with you. When you're first dating somebody, if maybe one glass of wine, maybe one beer, if you can handle it, if that doesn't change your countenance. Okay. But if it does, then I would highly suggest that you don't, because until you're really rock steady with yourself, till you're really set in your self-worth and empowerment, that is going to sway you one way or the other. And I just don't want to see that happen for you. So let's stay away from substances. Okay. Um, the last thing that I want to talk about is to give yourself a freaking pep talk. Give yourself a pep talk. All right. There's nothing wrong with talking to yourself. I talk to myself all the time. Right. When I need to hear something, I don't have anybody around me that's going to say it to me. I'll say it to my darn self. I will tell myself things. I will say, Kristen, you're good at this. You know what you're doing, blah, 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 whatever the space might be. Or, Kristen, calm yourself down, sit back, be calm, whatever it might be. That's what I tell myself. Like, that right now you're tired. I give myself pep talks, or go eat some good water, drink some water, eat some good food, this type of thing. Okay. You know already that you are attractive. You might be going, no, I'm not. Listen to me. You already do, because you've already attracted people. That makes you attractive. Okay. So this whole thing about the outside body, like we feel like we have to change my this isn't that, my boobs aren't or butt aren't big enough, or my whatever. You guys know I don't want to try to think of all the things. And men equally so. They might be like today I was on the treadmill next to one of my male friends. He was a friend from the past. He was my first husband's friend, and we all stayed friends. And he just happened to be at the gym with me and got right on the treadmill next to me. And we were talking about, he was talking about big, burly, puffy guys. And he's a very thin man, always has been. And he's a runner, he's a triathlete, and he does these things. And then we were talking about that. And I said, to be honest with you, Chris, I said, I don't like those big, puffy dudes. That's not my type. He goes, I said, you ask a man, like, do you like big boobs or small boobs? And most of them say, I don't care. Their boobs are boobs. Literally, that is my experience of what I've heard from men over and over and over again. Every once in a while, some will say, "Oh, I like big ones." Okay, but he goes, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't care either." He goes, "That's it," and he's the truth teller. And I was like, the same thing is true about physical bodies. Like, we think we have to have something different about ourselves to be attractive to someone. You freaking don't. I'm telling you, you don't. All right. I attracted this husband. I think we met at 45. Okay. Didn't look the way I looked at 23. That's for damn sure. And within this relationship, I've gained weight because I went into freaking menopause. Okay. Weirdest thing ever. Never had weight on my body like this. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, honey, I don't care. He really doesn't. He literally doesn't. I know it because I'm an energy reader, and I could tell if he was lying. When people fall in love with us, they fall in love with us. All right. And you are attractive. There's a bunch of people out in this world that are going to find you attractive. You, just the way you are. You don't have to alter a thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? You don't have to alter a thing. So I don't want you to think that you have to be like somebody else in order to attract a person. What you need to do, the love you're looking for, is your own. So before I close this down, I'm going to share with you how you learn to love yourself. I'm going to do it briefly because I'm really going to encourage you and invite you to jump over to Amazon and grab my book. All right. I guess I should put the thing down here, the URL. But I would also love you to get this up here in the comment section, 5 Supreme Energy Shifters to Attract Real Love. That's a really good PDF. It has so much great information. It's not super long because I don't like super long stuff. It just drives me. I don't like PDFs that are super long. I like them. Excuse me. I like them to be pretty, and I like them to be to the point, and I like to get the information that I need to get and move on. So anyway, I would highly recommend you grab this book. What it says is, reclaim your true worth and attract the love you deserve. Okay. We cannot attract the love we deserve until we, let me put the thing here. Buy book, go, wait, .ht/book. Okay. That was a little short URL that my lovely, lovely friend made for me. Okay. What if you're really hard on yourself and part of you is reluctant to love yourself fully? Oh, Julia, this is, hold on, you guys. Okay. You're not alone in that thought. Here's the thing. That's the paradox. That's the crazy paradox, is that we're so hard on ourselves that we don't want to love ourselves because we think we are unlovable. But when we do love ourselves, that's when the magic happens. It's crazy. I'm telling you. I've been on this path for a long time, and I'm telling you that this is the most crazy paradox of the whole thing. So, that's why the 5 self-love tenets in this book are that chapter I call the miracle cure, because this is what does it for us. And if you take those tenets one by one, let's go with the first one: grace and forgiveness of self. What is it? And I'm speaking to you, Julia, or anybody else, okay? This is the exact work that I did on myself. Grace and forgiveness of self. I literally went through everything that I ever thought I did that was bad. I searched, where are sources of embarrassment for me? This is what I searched. I typed it in my brain. Where are sources of embarrassment? Then I typed in, where are sources of shame? Okay. Okay. I see your question. I'll get to that in 1 second. All right. Where are sources of shame? And then I found those sources and I went through each one, and the list was long. And I gave myself grace and forgiveness. I won't get into all of that because it's all in the book. Okay. But I tell exactly how I did it. All right. Julia says, how to get the reluctant part of you on board? Okay. The reluctant part of you is your ego. Okay. It's your ego. You got your higher self. Well, let me do it this way, because I think it's backwards on there. Higher self and lower self. That's all we have. All right. In our psyche, there's no in between. So we are either in love of self, higher self, faith, goodness, all the things, or we are over here in truth, by the way, truth, or we're over here in ego, which is lower self, fear, and fucking lies. The ego lies to us. So that reluctant part of you is your ego telling you not to do it. Why? Because to do it means the death of the ego. It means the undoing of the ego. And the ego's job is to preserve itself. The ego's job is to keep us safe. That's what it says. It says safe like this. Why? Because it's lying to us all the time, saying, oh, don't go over there. Don't talk to that person. You're going to be rejected. No, don't try for that job because you're not good at that job. Or you won't get hired and you're going to be embarrassed. So don't do this, don't do that. It's the ego is constantly trying to keep us really, really small. That's what its job is. Part of my healing path was learning about the ego. I read A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle 25 something years ago. That's what alerted me to the ego. I was like, oh my God. Then I read Return to Love by Marianne Williamson, which blew my mind as well. Okay. So I got so well versed that there's this other voice in my head that's hurting me, that's keeping me small, keeping me stuck, yelling at me, scaring me. And I was like, all right. So when I came up, I said, there's my ego. I'm like, there's my ego. It's trying to keep me small again. So this is part of the practice. This is part of the mental discipline. I was recognizing which side of my psyche I was in at any given time. Right now, I'm in my God self, higher self. That's why Julia said, she goes, it feels like you're streaming spirit right now, because I am. Okay. Because I am spirit. We're spirit. Like, it's just flowing through. If I was over here in fear, my conversation would be very, I would say, reluctant. It'd be stopping and starting. It would be confused. It would just not be flowy. Okay. So when we learn which side of my brain am I in, what am I listening to right now? And trust me when I tell you, the ego is relentless and it's going to hammer the shit out of you. Okay. It's going to say to you, don't do it, Julia. Don't go there. No, you don't want to do this. She's lying to you. All right. It's gonna pull out all stops. It's gonna say anything it can possibly say to you to get you to not undo the ego, to go towards the light, and to go towards love. All right. My suggestion to you, do it anyway. This is what I would say to my ego back in the day when I was really undoing a lot of stuff. And this is about 10, 12 years ago. It's 2011. January 2011, when I really was like hammering it hard. And every time it popped up, I literally looked to my left like there was a little gremlin. My ego, I pictured it. Now it's not mean. It doesn't have scary teeth. It's like a little gremlin about this big. Oh, I'm sorry. And it was green. It was green, had green hairy hair, and it was cute, but it would just come up and try to tell me something negative and bad and harsh, like there's no good men left. No one's going to want you. You have two baby daddies. Blah, 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 blah. The list where you're getting old. All these things that it would say to me, and I would turn to it and I would say, I know first I'd ask myself, is this true? And I'm like, no, it's ridiculous. It's not true. And then I would say, thank you for trying to protect me, but you can go now. I'm going to believe this, which was the truth. I did this, I can't tell you, like it was my fucking job. I did this like it was every time I was driving in the car because that was the time I was alone. I wasn't distracted by other people. My car and my shower became my two healing zones. Okay. And then it would go away. I promise you this, within 48 hours, my anxiety that I had struggled with for a year was gone, completely gone. 48 hours. Okay. Because I was not listening to the words of this ego that was causing scary emotions inside of me. Okay. I was starting to listen to truth, 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 truth. Okay. And then those thoughts, so 48 hours, the anxiety went away. Within 2 weeks, that set of thinking was completely annihilated from my life. It was gone. It never came back. It never came back. Other things came up along my path as I was stretching towards other ventures and other desires and things like that I wanted to experience. And then I had to handle those things. Okay. So the one thing that's stopping you is your ego. It doesn't want you to heal. It doesn't want you to heal. It wants you to stay stuck and stay small, because the bigger your God self becomes, your higher self, the smaller the okay. So if they're like this, they go like this. Okay. Or this could be your ego self, and your lower self is way down here. They can go like this. Okay. And if you think about it, if you open your heart and you listen to this right now, everything I'm suggesting to you, does it sound scary? Grace and forgiveness. Those are beautiful words, right? The second self-love tenet, respect and protect. Okay, now I don't mean armor when I say protect, respect and protect. Okay, respect yourself, respect yourself, respect yourself, respect yourself. Protect yourself when somebody is acting wonky out here. Remove yourself. Don't allow yourself to be around people that raise their voice to you, disrespect you, call you names, treat you crappy, whatever it might be, leave you places, whatever it might be. You got to respect yourself and protect yourself. Does that sound like it's scary, like it's going to harm you? No. But your God self, your higher self is going to raise, right? Which is going to decrease your ego, right? That's scary to the ego because the ego's going to die. Okay, now the ego, I've never tried to eradicate the ego completely. I'm sure highly, 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 highly enlightened people, which I heard there's maybe 100 of them on the planet, they may not have an ego anymore. Okay, mine's still here, and I don't mind it because it just helps me heal, because it's pointing out things to me where I feel poorly about myself, or I don't think I'm enough, or I think I'm too much, or whatever it might be. All right, so that's it. That's that. Yeah, you got to get the book, sister. You got to get the book. The next one is compassion and acceptance of self. Once again, compassion, it's of love. Acceptance is of love. Okay. So you got to go through and you got to be compassionate with yourself on your journey. You got to understand that you're a fallible human being. That was another thing that I wrapped my head around. I'm a fallible human being. I make freaking mistakes. I'm not supposed to be perfect. And when I learned that, man, that took a lot of pressure off. Okay. And acceptance of all the things. I have a very loud, I think I have a guffaw is the right word. It's a bah ha 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 when I think something's funny and it just comes flying out of me. And I was on the wisdom app yesterday talking to somebody and they said something funny and I went, bah ha ha ha. And I said, I am so sorry. Was that loud in your ear? And they go, no. And I'm like, really? And they're like, no, not at all. And then someone else writes, I love your laugh. And then I said, you know what? My kids say my laugh isn't loud either. But see, this is the thought I have about myself. I'm too much. Okay. So I'm like, all right, well, if everybody thinks my laugh is fine. In fact, no one's ever said a word about my laugh my entire life other than a positive thing, but it's me judging me. Okay. So I accept now my laugh. I have a loud laugh, or at least I think I do. Okay. That's acceptance of self. I accept all my idiosyncrasies. I don't judge myself because I don't eat gluten. And sometimes that puts people out, family members out that still eat gluten, right? I don't judge myself for that and go, oh, I'm bad. I'm making everybody go to a gluten-free restaurant. No, or, these type of things. I don't feel bad for that. I accept that this is me and I give them the opportunity. I'm like, you don't have to go with me. You can go somewhere that you want to eat. It's okay. So I'm not trying to control everybody. All right. The next one is positive and supportive, loving self-talk. We are heinous to ourselves. We are hideous to ourselves. And again, it's the ego side of us, right? That is saying these horrendous, nasty things about ourselves. I mean, I don't know about you, but there's been times where I've gotten out of the shower, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm just hammering myself because I don't have that 23-year-old body anymore. And I'm like, oh my God, I would never, ever say that to somebody else in a billion years, ever. I wouldn't even think it, right? I wouldn't even be like, yeah, kind of not looking good. That's them. I love them, accept them for exactly who they are. So I've learned to talk kindly to myself. And if I notice that I'm saying something yucky to me, I will go, okay, okay, okay. I'm really gentle with me. I'm like, we're not going to go there. Just like I would a small child. Okay. Correcting a small child, be gentle with them. Don't scream at them. Don't scream at yourself. Okay. You're trying to provide a safe space for you. So I'd say, it's okay. It's all right that, I know you got off the rails right there for a second, but let's pull it back in. Be gentle with you. Okay. And the last one is self-care. Self-care is what I was just talking about with gluten. Okay. So I'm gluten-free. I am virtually dairy-free. I do not eat preservatives. It's very difficult for me to eat out in restaurants. I require a lot of sleep. Okay. I require, and it supports my well-being to meditate and to be alone, have alone time. Say, there's certain things about me that I need to do for me. That's my self-care. Okay. I care for myself really well. I didn't in the past. All right. All of these things that I'm sharing with you, grace and forgiveness of self, respect and protect of self, compassion and acceptance of self, loving and supportive self-talk, and self-care, 5 self-love tenets, they are going to raise your vibration in ways that I cannot even describe. Anybody else I know that has done this work, we all say the same thing. We just kind of sit there shaking our head because and I've been on the wisdom app with friends and other mentors that have done this work as well. And they're like, there's no describing it. We've sat there for 5 minutes trying to describe what it feels like. It's a sense of freedom. It's a sense of groundedness. It's a sense of giving way less F's than we used to give. It's us able to work through things faster than we did before. It's so hard to say. This is what I mean. It's very difficult to explain. However, once you get there, you don't want to go back. You don't want to go back. And you will catch yourself each time that your ego tries to pull you back in, and you'll pull yourself back forward back into that space of loving care. But what really blows my mind the most is that I stopped attracting narcissists. I stopped attracting, now you guys hear me talk about NTPs, okay, narcissistic type person, because not every person that has some qualities that people are just railing today, everybody's a narcissist, all right? If they have any sort of dysfunctional pattern, they're automatically getting labeled a narcissist, all right? Not everybody's a narcissist, okay? Narcissists, like full blowns, are pretty freaking gnarly, all right? But there's a spectrum. This doesn't mean I didn't attract people that had levels of selfishness to them, or, maybe gaslighted me here and there, or did certain things like this. That was still there. But me showing up in my whole self, loving myself, highlighted in them that, and they wanted to adjust that to be healthy and to stay in relationship with me. Okay. But the gnarly narcissists, those type of people, that stopped happening. Okay. Human beings are the walking wounded. We all have areas inside of us that we have to heal. Every single one of us do. Every single one of us does. All right. So it's not that we're trying to attract a perfect person, because they're not out there. Everybody's got their flaws. Everybody's got their mistakes. Everybody has their idiosyncrasies. So that's a thought that I want people to get out of their mind. Yes, there are really great people out there. Yes, there are people that are going to dot a lot of your I's and cross a lot of your T's, but you will not find that person until you work on you. I'll tell you this last story. I have this girlfriend who was with the gnarliest. Oh my gosh, this man was insufferable. All right. And he really did a number on her. She was married to him. When right after they got divorced, I really encouraged her not to date. I said, please don't date right now. And she did. And she kept attracting the same thing again. And under my tutelage, under my care, she was like, okay. And at some point she decided to stop dating. She was, I have to stop. I just need to focus on me. And I said, yes. And she started focusing on herself. And she has just met the guy, the Mac Daddy, amazing, beautiful human being that she's like, Kristen, he's the one. And I'm like, yeah, because she took that time to work on herself. In my first book, From Doormat to Sweet Empowerment, I talk about aloneness. It's hard to see. Aloneness is recreation time. Kind of a play on words, recreation, recreation. Aloneness is recreation time. Okay. So when you start to really invest in yourself, it's going to be the biggest and best investment that you have ever made. I promise you, I cannot stress this enough. The love you're looking for is yours. And when you start to heal that self-worth and your true value, you are not only going to attract better experiences and people to you, but you're going to be able to spot unhealthy like that. It's like someone shot up a firework with their behavior. You're like, woo. I didn't used to be able to spot that stuff. I kind of knew it because obviously when someone does something crappy, you're like, yeah, okay. Oh, they were just in a bad mood, or, we just make excuses for them. Anymore, we know that if they're showing us that at 2 weeks into the relationship, that awfulness, like my second husband called me a horrific name 2 weeks in, and I shrugged it off because he was drinking. No. That obviously blew up into something bigger, harsher, and more annihilating. I just had to, because if you say that to somebody, say, hey, what are you doing? Because they could be in bad habits too. This is why I call things pink flags. Could just be a bad habit. They're in the bad habit of that. My first husband, one time we were tickle fighting and he goes, stop it, you bitch. And I stopped right there and I said, don't ever call me a bitch. We were together a total of 12 years and he never did. That was one and only. Okay. It was just the way he spoke and the way he talked, and he thought it was funny. And I was like, not funny. And he didn't do it again. Okay. So yes, it's important that we recognize the pink flags. It's not all of a sudden throw the baby out with the bathwater because there's one little tiny thing. It's to investigate and look into it. But when we love ourselves so much, we're so grounded in ourselves that when that happens, number one, we don't excuse it. But number two, we're not afraid of losing them. We sit in it and we're like, okay, let me see what this is about and see if they can figure this out. And if they don't, we know that it's our cue to leave. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here today. I super, super appreciate you being here and listening to this on the replay. I love all of your comments. I can't wait to hear back from you after you read the book, or maybe even get this free download, the 5 Supreme Energy Shifters to Attract Real Love. These are the things that work. I cannot stress this enough. I don't throw just bullshit out into the world. All right. It takes a lot of time and energy for me. I got a lot going on in my life to create a PDF or a download or to write a book. It takes a lot out of me to do these things. So I want to make them purposeful. I want to give you the best possible information you can in the smallest, most succinct package. All right. All right, you guys. So much love to each and every one of you. By the way, love yourself. This is a BTS, actually, the band BTS. I don't know if you guys know who they are. It's a BTS sweatshirt, and it just happens to be the one that I wore to the gym today. So much love to you guys. Mwah. I love my community. I love my YouTubers. I love all of your comments always. So please always comment below, ask questions. You can even contact me on my website at kristenbrown.org. It's always in the descriptions of my videos. And there's a contact button in there, and you can send me questions, things that you want me to address either on a live or on a wisdom talk. And I highly recommend you guys download the Wisdom app. Okay. It's not hard to find. There's only one of its kind. And this is where mentors and speakers get up and talk live like this. But there's also the option for you to click and join the room. So your little voice comes up too, it's not video, it's only voice. And you can talk to me one-on-one. You can also DM me over there if I'm giving a live talk and you're like, kind of like Julia did when she had some questions. She just wrote it in real time. You can do that as well. So thank you guys for being here. So much love to you, and happy Valentine's Day, because you are effing amazing. You're more beautiful, brilliant, and unique and fascinating than you even think. And your ideal person is out there. So go love yourself so that you can attract them. Peace.